Hello, everybody, and welcome to Church at Home with Rachel for Wednesday, the 14th of January. I apologize. I haven't been around since Friday. Gospel on the go on Sunday, and Monday and Tuesday didn't happen because apparently a ruptured Achilles tendon takes a lot more headspace than you'd think. Just today, I'd just like to sort of talk about perspective. But first of all, I'd like to sort of apologize for my appearance. On Monday, I was told if I hadn't had heard from the fracture clinic by Monday morning to give them a call and get an appointment. So at 10 after 9, I called them and they said, "Can you be here at 10:40?" And Rob was at school. So I thought, okay, yep, dog needs to go outside. So I took the dog out the front, which is like two cement steps. And she's really been good about going on her leash and going pee in the front lawn where I don't have to leave past the little sidewalk there. And she was brilliant. She came back. She was perfect. And as I was trying to turn around and step up onto the step, my crutch went out from underneath me and I face planted on my, on the front step. Both knees on the first step, wrists, and then face. Knee, like my bottom lip is cut on the inside and it's got road rash on my lip and I banged up my nose and did a little bleeding. And you know what? The first thing I thought was, I hope no one saw me. What is that about? It's like when I went into the emergent and said to the nurse, I wish I had a better story to say than I was outside with my dog and I stepped in a hole. Why are we embarrassed about how we hurt ourselves? It's a thing. Anyway, so I spent Monday morning and most of the afternoon at the hospital with the fracture clinic. I now have a boot that weighs about 40 pounds. It's not that heavy. It's probably only about 7 or 8. But it also makes me 3 inches taller on my left side. And I have crutches, and the ACW of the cathedral very graciously loaned me a walker on wheels with a seat that I use around the house, and that Rob used on Saturday when we went out to Souris to do the deconsecration of St. Luke's. He was pushing me pushing me around backwards on this walker for the service, and it was humbling but incredibly beautiful to be there with them. But I just wanted to talk a bit about perspective. One of the things that happened Saturday, we thought the service was at 11 in Souris, which is about 35 minutes away from Brandon. We got there in time, but nobody was there. Turns out they thought the service was at 2. So we had a little time to kill. So we decided to go back into Brandon, go to Walmart, get dog food, pick up some other supplies that we needed. And so I was using one of those carts, those electric carts that you see folks using. And first of all, I'm not a good driver in those things. It took me a long time before I stopped running into displays and people and backing into things, but I finally got it figured out. I'm looking forward to my next trip to Walmart. Um, but it gave me a new perspective on how we see the world. See, I'm almost 6 feet tall. I'm almost 5'10". So when I look, like my eye line is probably around 5'6", 5'7". So when I look out directly, when I'm standing up straight with good posture, I see things that are relatively high off the floor. I don't see the things that are closer to the floor. I've been known to wander around stores looking for something, and they were literally staring me in the kneecaps. I just didn't think to look down. I live in a world of tall people, and I live in the world of able-bodied people. And my trip around Walmart gave me an insight into how I will be, I hope, when I am no longer on crutches, etc. In that the number of people who were, first of all, situationally unaware. So in the military, Rob used to talk an awful lot. Sorry, my foot's killing me. Rob talked an awful lot like about situational awareness, the importance of every single person to be situationally aware, not only what you are doing, but what's going on around you. What are the people doing when you're in the car? Who's driving cars around you? Who's in your blind spot? Things like that. Always being situationally aware, which means that you can live your life pretty uneventfully. If you're aware of what's going on around you, you can better respond and react to things. I discovered on Saturday in Walmart with my cart, how situationally unaware so many people are. I know it's a Saturday, it's busy, people have got a few things to do, the sun is shining, it's freezing cold, but it's not snowing. Before it starts to snow again, let's get things done. They're out there, they're in their own little bubble, they're in their own little world, and they're going to do what they have to do and get out of there. It's really quite dangerous because they weren't aware of the number of times that I just about killed them, nor were they aware of the number of times that they could have hurt me or someone like me because they cut in front of me, or they just completely were not able to see either below them or the sound of this machine rolling at them. It makes quite a bit of noise. They were just in their own little world. They weren't situationally aware. So that's a thing we all have to work on, being situational aware. And then there are the people who are amazingly gracious. The number of people, like before I got into the store, I was using crutches. Rob dropped me off at the door so I could go park. And I went to go in the big, self-opening doors. And this one lady kept saying, "Oh, go ahead." I'm like, "No, no." I am so slow. You go on ahead of me. Let me catch my breath and stabilize myself. You go on ahead. She was so lovely. So many people, got out of the way for me or asked me if I was okay, if I needed help. One person even asked me as I was looking up at something that was on the top shelf that normally would not be an issue for me. Somebody, not realizing that Rob was right beside me, even offered to grab something off the top shelf for me and put it in the basket that's attached to the cart. Like that was beautiful. And there were many, many gracious people out in the world who were aware of me and my circumstances and were courteous enough to want to help me out, or at least not hinder me. And then there were, and there always has to be, but then there were the absolutely asshats of the world who were very situationally aware, and part of their awareness was that I was going to slow them down. And some of them I think were just cruel. I'm a big girl, and you just know that about me, but I'm not a shrinking violet. Um, and there were some people who were giving me that look like, you know what, you don't need to use that thing. You could probably use walking around the store. The fact that there were crutches sticking up out of the basket didn't give it away. But there were those people who were giving me the look, and a couple people who murmured things about me. And you know what? It doesn't matter why a person is using one of those assistance devices. The fact is that for whatever reason, if they feel they need to, we don't know what's inside their heart, their mind, their body. We don't know what aches and pains they have or what their doctor may have said or their balance might be off. Who the heck cares? We need to make room for each other as we present ourselves. And I got a real eye opener about the way some people are just absolutely cruel in this world. And that's not okay. That's not okay. I think we're living in a society that's actually encouraging the cruelty. But to counterbalance that, I also noticed that there were a lot of people who went out of their way to counteract that. There were a couple of times um, when Rob saw what we needed and he headed down the aisle before I could get there, because those carts only go so fast, which is a blessing if you've ever seen me drive anything like this. So you don't want me to have uncontrollable speed. But there were a couple of times he was way ahead of me and somebody was rude or cut me off intentionally, and somebody else would either apologize on their behalf, they didn't need to do that, or I noticed that they were going out of their way to make room for me to help me. And that's the thing. We can't get rid of the evil in the world, the discourteous, the assets of the world, but we can try to balance it off. And for those of us who don't necessarily go that direction, we can do our level best to not only be situationally aware, but to make life as pleasurable and as easy and convenient for other people as possible. And you know what? It feels good. It feels really good. I mean, I tried to take advantage of. I was in this cart and I knew I was not going to be going anywhere in a hurry. And even if Rob was zipping light years ahead of me, I was the one with the cart. He had to come back to deposit the stuff in my basket. So if he wants to speed up, he can. I was going at the pace I could go at, which meant I had the leisure to be able to stop and say, "No, you go ahead first," or "I'm down here already. Can I help? Can I get that for you?" to someone who is tall. This experience is giving me a new perspective on life, not just about being tall and able-bodied, but around how people react to one another and how we treat each other. And I'm starting to recognize that we all have work to do. We can't force the asshats of life to become the good guys in life. But the good guys in life can certainly hold up that flag and say, we're going to wear it well. We're going to do this because eventually the good will win. And for those people who find themselves completely situationally unaware, God bless you, and may you never find yourself in a position where your situational unawareness causes you to end up like me. Because it was my situational unawareness that made me put my foot in a hole in the first place and then trip and fall flat on my face. So I don't think it was a punishment. It's just a consequence of situational unawareness. So for all of us out there, we all have work to do. Let's just pay attention to our perspective and see if maybe we can learn a new thing. Have a great day. God bless you. I will not promise that there'll be a video tomorrow because it seems like whatever energy in my body is going to heal the Achilles tendon in my foot, or even simply get me the ability to hobble across the floor, has drained any ability of my brain to think. I don't know what that's about, but I promise in the next couple of weeks I will simply do my best. Have a great day. God bless, and I'll see you next time on Church at Home with Rachel.